Terry, we're heading into the peak season for cruise ships, and as millions of people plan their cruises, the industry is taking steps to clean up its image and improve cruise ship security. Phil Schuman takes another look at cruise ship crime.
For Kimberly Dean Edwards, turning 40 was hard to face.
The big 4-0 for a woman is a little tough.
So her husband planned a romantic cruise, but Edwards says her dream vacation went terribly wrong.
What I thought was going to be harmless ended up going from harmless to sexual assault. So I was just shocked, just totally shocked.
She says a drunk passenger sexually assaulted her in a cruise ship ladies' room.
As you go through the process in trying to seek justice, you go from shock and sorrow into just sheer out anger. I'm just not the same person, jovial person that I used to be.
John Meisner said he's also a shadow of his former self.
Couldn't hold a job, lost my job.
For nearly 3 years, he's been trying to get answers. His wife, Annette, simply disappeared off a cruise ship in the Mexican Riviera.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It was just, we never even got to say bye to her.
And they're not alone. These are faces posted on a website of alleged cruise victims. George Smith, who also disappeared. A couple from Los Angeles, Hugh Pham and Hugh Tran, missing without a trace. For 3 decades, these are stories that Charles Lipcon has been hearing as a leading maritime law attorney.
And I see a lot of cases that are coming in, and I see the frequency and the increase in the numbers, the increase in the heinousness of the crimes, but each answer costs money.
Lipcon believes the biggest problem continues to be the fact that these ships don't wave the American flag.
These ships all are registered in foreign countries, and they fly foreign flags of convenience. So they're regulated by the Bahamas or Panama or Liberia. These countries all compete with each other in order to get this business. And one way they compete is by leaving the ship owners alone. So there's very little oversight.
On February 21st,
recent congressional hearings put the cruise industry in the hot seat. Here, a passenger testifies how she was repeatedly raped last year by a cruise ship employee.
I tried to resist my mind, with him forcing me down and keeping me from moving until I became unconscious. The terror of that experience still overwhelms me.
And this website, International Cruise Victims, chronicles new reports as more and more passengers come forward. But now, for the first time since Fox 11 has been reporting on these ongoing problems, the cruise industry says it's doing something. In recent months, major cruise lines like Carnival and Royal Caribbean say they've improved security. They've beefed up their staff. They've added digital video surveillance technology, even grief counselors. They've also begun programs like Serve Safe, aimed at reducing excessive alcohol consumption, which is often a big problem aboard ship. Here in Kimberly Dean Edwards' FBI report, the passenger who allegedly assaulted her says he was, quote, too intoxicated to remember anything that happened that entire day. And earlier this month, members of the cruise industry voluntarily met face-to-face with cruise crime victims at a symposium in Atlanta designed to hear victim stories firsthand. Edwards says she's encouraged by the changes the industry is making.
But there are changes being made in the industry, and this does give a lot of the ICV members, including myself, hope that by coming out, telling our stories, we are seeing an industry make changes that are long overdue.
Stories that are painful for the victims to tell, but stories they hope will lead to smoother sailing for everyone. Phil Schuman, Fox 11 News.
Cruise ship crime victims plan to testify before Congress again in September. The Senate may also be opening its own investigation this fall.
For the